Hi everyone, it's Alora, and today I'm going to be talking about my girly favorites. So these are books that are incredibly feminine and have beautiful dresses in them and are just, they're just girly. There's lots of pink, there's baking, all of those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't typically consider myself to be a girly person. Today I put on my girliest dress. It's light pink and has lace, which is absolutely not what I would normally wear, but I sometimes really like these feminized, these hyper-feminized books, and that's okay. So today I'm going to be sharing some recommendations of very light, fluffy, girly reads that are also a lot of fun. So the first series that I want to talk about is written by Jenny Han, and she writes a lot of fun girly books, but my favorite series of hers is the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. Wow, that was graceful, me trying to get that up there. Ah, what a mess. Okay, so the first one is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, the second one is P.S. I Still Love You, and then the third one was just released at the beginning of this month, and it's called Always and Forever Lara Jean. I have yet to read this, so this is exciting, and it was actually what prompted me to film this video because I was like, well, I'm about to start reading this super girly book, so let me talk about other girly books that I enjoy. Basically, this series follows this young woman named Lara Jean, and she is from a family of women. She has her dad, but there are 3 sisters in her family. The premise of the story is that every time she falls in love with a boy, she writes him a love letter and then she puts it in a hat box under her bed, and she doesn't intend to send them, but then one day all of the letters get sent out to the boys that she's loved before, and it's kind of a book about her dealing with the repercussions of these boys finding out that she cared about them. And it's really hilarious, but Lara Jean is super girly, she wears lots of dresses, she loves to bake, which, homegirl. She's not me at all, actually, but I love to bake, so we have that connection going. And there's so much talk about baking in these books, like she's baking cookies here, and she's baking cupcakes for this, and she's baking a cake for this person, and it's fantastic. Very girly, would definitely recommend this series to anybody who enjoys that kind of thing. The next book even has the word girl in the title, so I think I'm on track here, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Now, I love this book so much that I have 2 copies of it. I know, I'm one of those book people. I'm one of those people that has different copies of books that they love. What can you say? Anyhow, the main character of this book, Kath, is not inherently girly. She wears cardigans and her hair up and like t-shirts for books that she loves, but it's kind of a girly story. It's a fantastic look on your first year in college or your first year in university. I related to this so much after my first year of college when I reread it. It was me. So for anybody who loves certain like fan culture, and anybody who loves to write, anybody who wants to have this is a deep book, but it's easy to read. So Rainbow Rowell has this magical way of incorporating important concepts into easy to read books, and enjoyable stories. So these characters are lovely, and this whole book is just lovely, and I feel like if you use the word lovely to describe something, then it can fit into the girly category. Plus the cover's super pink, so there's that. Alright, next up we have another series, and that is the Anna and the French Kiss series. Now, everybody on BookTube talks about these, so I'm sure you've heard about them, but if you haven't picked them up yet, do yourself a favor. Pick them up. They're really fun. These are probably the easiest books that I have ever read, barring picture books. They are just so light and fast and easy to fly through, and you get connected to the characters, but I don't know, it's kind of fluffy reading, but you don't feel guilty for reading it because there's such good character development that you don't feel like they're just caricatures, if you know what I mean. There are a lot of romance type books where the characters are just nothing. They're insubstantial, they're air, they're just placeholders for the romance or the sex, and that's not what these books are. These books have real characters really legitimately falling in love with themselves and with other people, and I think that that's great. And also they're set in really cool places. So this one takes place in Paris, and this one takes place in San Francisco, and this one takes place in New York City, so that's fun. Also, the dads of Lola in Lola and the Boy Next Door own a baking business. So there's more baking, which I'm always down for, and then you also have the whole pink cover thing going for it too. The very last girly series that I want to talk about today is probably the girliest of them all. I probably saved the best or worst, depending on how you look at it, for last. And that is the Selection series by Kira Cass. Now, I know I'm holding up the one, which is the third book in the Selection series, and that's because I don't own the first book because I listened to it on audio. The second book has a less pretty cover because it's orange and I'm just not a fan. And then this one is really gorgeous. Look at the dress. Look at all the pretty dresses on all the covers. There are 5 books in this series. The first 3 follow America Singer, and I don't want to spoil who the second 2 follow because it does tie into the story, but they follow a different character. And they are so almost sickeningly feminine. This is basically about a pageant. It's sort of like a Miss America pageant, but for who's going to marry the prince. And it was so fun, and there were so many vapid, insipid characters just doing really petty things, and it was really catty at times, but it was also really fun, and Prince Maxon was just swoon-worthy. He was to die for, and it was just fun. It was light and easy to read and really fast-paced, and there were lots of descriptions of gorgeous gowns and sumptuous food, and I just really enjoyed my time spent reading these books. So if you're looking for a book that is really just a pleasure read, you know, something that you can read and enjoy and fly through, where you don't have to devote a lot of mental energy, you don't have to put a lot of space in your head for the book, you know? Sometimes, especially during finals times or stressful times in my life, I just don't feel like I have the brain capacity to handle a full story, but these books kind of get rid of that problem because they're just so easy to hold in your brain, if that makes sense. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed filming it. I hope to see you again very soon, and until next time, stay happy, stay healthy. Bye, guys.